So for step 29, attaching the battery holders, well, you can see that we've got these two pieces. They're the B11s, there they are, and they're going to go inside these two holes on the electronics deck, and then they fold down, and then we put the snap pins in them. So there are the snap pins, so I will set it up and we'll put them on. So if we grab the chassis, you can see here that these two pieces right here are going to slide into here. So we need to put one in, then push it back, let it sit in the hole so that it will come fit and go up and down. So having done that, we'll grab our snap pin. And I don't think it really matters which way you do this, except it's easier from this. Yeah, you can't really do it from that side because the screw in the deck is in the way. So same thing on the other side. We're going to take this, we're going to slide that into the side, slide it the other way, get it into the center so that it can go up and down. And same thing, grab our snap pin and pop it through. I guess that is the second easiest step of the entire build. So those are on. So step 29 is complete. We'll move on now to step 30 and attach the RC equipment to the RC deck. So for step 30, attaching the RC equipment, well, this is where we're going to attach the servo to the chassis. And we've got some MA3 screws and washers that we need to use to put that in. Then it shows for the receiver, you attach it to the deck with these little screws and these little washers. Well, because this is a Hobbywing speed controller, you can't do that because the on-off switch is not designed the same way as a Tamiya switch. So we're going to come up with a completely different place to put this. I don't know where yet, so we'll figure that out when we get there. So you can see here they want you to cut out some double-sided tape. Well, the Hobbywing speed controller actually comes with tape that's pre-cut to the correct size. And then for this, I'm actually going to be using Velcro because I use my receivers in different kits, so I don't have to keep buying radios. So I'm going to put that on with a piece of Velcro. So there are the pieces that we're going to need, our screws and washers. So I'll set this up and we'll put this together. So I think what we'll do first is let's get the servo into the chassis. And you can see that in terms of the positioning, this is sitting this way, and they're showing that the servo is going to be sitting back like that. So in here, we're going to want to feed the wires below, which I'm just going to get out of the way. And then that is going to sit just like that off to the side. Now you can see that they're also showing that you want the screw in the top left and the screw in the top or the bottom right. So we're going to grab one of them, grab that screw and that washer, and that is going to sit right there. So actually I'll keep that flat for now, and I'm going to screw this in a little bit. I'm not going to go all the way for now because I want to get the other one in place first. So same idea. In fact, I'm just going to turn this around just because we're working on this side. And that's going to go into the, I guess now because I've reversed this, it's now in the top left. Now what they are saying is make sure that this is somewhat level too, so that it's even on both sides. You don't want this off center. So if I can get this more or less correct, which it pretty much is really, we'll screw that down. And it looks about right, actually. So we'll do the same thing on this side. So there we go. There is our servo in place. Excellent. And then this, I think, will end up getting fed up through the center here. If I was to just get that cable, there we go, which will then be able to reach the receiver that this needs to be plugged into, and then I can probably just pop it down as well. I don't know. I'll see what we do with the placement of the wires after. But that's our servo in place. So now let's get to working on the deck. So you can see in terms of the placement, they're showing the two things side by side. And if I take a look at the positioning of this, as they're saying, this would sit here, and then this would sit here. And you want your cables facing the back because that's going to be closer to the motor. So they're going to sit side by side like that. So let's do that. I've already put the other side of the tape onto the speed controller. So I'm going to make sure that's out of the way, but I'll try and center this somewhat. There we go. So that's in the correct position. And then for the receiver itself, well, I'm going to grab the Velcro. And in fact, I'm going to stick the Velcro into position on the receiver, because then I can figure out what the best positioning of this will be, which looks like for this it'll be there. So there we go. There is our receiver and speed controller in place, and all the cables are in the correct position for this. Now, that last thing, I mean, obviously that's the Tamiya speed controller, which isn't going to work for us. So I'm going to do this a little differently. I'm going to grab, because they have a piece of double-sided tape specifically for this receiver switch, I'm going to put the tape on this side piece here, because I think what I want to do is, just because of the way this is, I'm going to put the receiver switch, and I was trying to figure out this before. I could actually run it, no, because it'll get in the way of our steering once it's on. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn this back, and I'm going to sit it down here. Here, I'm just going to undo the tape here so we can actually get it in place. Come on. There we go. So here's my plan. I'm going to stick this down here, just like that. The cable wire is loose enough. It's not affecting anything. This is down here. It's nicely in place, because up here, obviously the Tamiya one is a lot longer. You could get it up there with no problem. It's fine. But we can't do that because it's got a very short wire. So I'm going to put it there. I think it'll be in a perfect position, and it still means that these on both sides can go up and down. On the BT-01, I put it up here and it kind of blocked this. But I wasn't sure how I wanted to build it yet, because I wanted to do some, front engine rear drive. But to start with, I'm building it as a mid motor rear drive. This one is the position I wanted in. So this is the mid high position motor rear drive. So this isn't going to change. So I think that will work. So I'm going to go with that. So that means that the car has all the electronics in it. We're ready to go, so we can move on to the next step. Step 30 being done, we're now going to work on the wheels for step 31.